Hey, Sidekick subscribers and viewers out there today. Hero887, your host, welcoming you to another daily countdown episode on Shadow of War news. In the previous episode, we talked about the crazy hardcore difficulty that Shadow of War is really ramping up, seemingly to rise the challenge of becoming even greater, even more difficult, and bringing players what they really want, a challenge and a greater reward. And on that same note, I want to talk about how these various orcs can actually make the game even harder. So let's talk about that. And in the in-game, these different orcs, obviously, you're going to have to level with Talion, because the question has been asked, with certain items, it seems like Talion can be made nearly invincible. I mean, he seems to be really powerful, and certainly so much in Mordor. Will that be so with Shadow of War? And will the orcs ever be a challenge anymore? Well, here's the answer from the devs. Orcs and Talion can become nearly, keyword nearly, impossible to kill with many immunities. So there you have it. It's not going to be easy to kill them. You can't just walk up and just start hacking away, because there's so many attributes, so many immunities to consider. There's always going to be some weaknesses. They do make that clear. There will always be weaknesses. They bounce it off. Again, they said nearly impossible, but there's always going to be some near weaknesses, even in the near end game. So even when they're like super hyper, super legendary, awesome Urks, they're still going to have tons of immunities, so many so that you really have to think very hard how you're going to plan and kill to beat them. And that's the challenge. Therein lies the challenge, which, again, kind of dovetails with the previous discussion from yesterday. If you want to see more about that, make sure you go check it out. But this is dovetailing with, is it coming to the point so difficult that it's actually impossible to kill them? Is it to the point where Talion's becoming so powerful that he's invincible? The answer is yes and no. Almost. Almost, nearly is the keyword they used. And they give an example in the trailer. Talion gets an armor that makes him immune against poison, and so literally he can almost not be killed by a poison user. Now, of course, within reason, obviously his attacks still hurt, but the poison has no effect. So you can imagine in the end game, with so many more immunities for Talion, you can also fathom that the Urks will have tons of immunities. And again, always a weakness, even for Talion. So he's not invincible, and not every Urk, even though super high leveled, will be impossible to kill. That is still possible, but must be planned. So time to really do some research. Time to scout out these Urks, and you might have more than one encounter with them, and you might have some failures in trying to kill them. But that's what makes the game so great. Replay value, folks. That's what I'm loving, and I hope you loving it too. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching, and tomorrow we're going to talk about the different gear. Now, we talked about gear for Talion, but do we talk about gear for Urks? Stay tuned tomorrow for that. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to slam that like button with a bone-shattering wraith punch to the face. The harder you smash it, the better. No, really, it really helps this channel out.